Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Midtown Manhattan, New York. I'm with Georgia Benjamin. How you doing, Georgia?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm so excited to get started. We're in this beautiful, like to me, quintessential New York bar. We're not drinking, which is a shame because it's like 10 a.m. But we are here to talk about two things: New York and you, and these. Let's start with you. How do you end up in this position with me in an interview talking about watches in New York? What the hell happened?
Very grateful to be here, and thank you so much for having me this morning. I started collecting about 5 years ago, which has landed me here today. I very organically started sharing on Instagram, and I've made such a wonderful watch family, which has just been an incredible journey. So
she made a wonderful watch family by making wonderful effing content. There have been some viral reels. I think the first one I got on when it was like 5 likes was the tennis ball heels.
Oh, yes.
Give me your top 3 most viral moments, and can you give me some credit? Because I was onto those heels.
Absolutely.
I was like, this is going wild.
Well, thanks to your early adoption,
Yes.
they went viral.
Posted
so we
it,
have to note
reposted,
that.
yeah.
The tennis ball heels was absolutely hilarious and amazing. I wore a pair of tennis ball heels to the US Open and they went insane. I was like spotted and papped, and I did a how-to video as well, which just went really viral. Another viral moment was a YSL reverso that I posted when I was in Dan Tanner in LA. Yeah. And it was a very silly video of me posting how this watch flipped over a bowl of spaghetti and meatballs. And it's on like 13 million views or something outrageous.
It's decent. I mean, the numbers are okay.
It's a pretty cool watch too.
Yeah, that's about 13 times more than any of mine. So that is truly how you get attention in the watch world.
Yes.
It's just throwing stuff out there, isn't it?
Literally throwing it out there, seeing what sticks, telling stories about the pieces. Other ones that do really well for me is just really diving into the history of some of these pieces, and I think people really resonate with that.
Follow Georgia Benj. But now let's talk about New York, because we are here. Time+Tide is in
Welcome.
Soho. Thank you. Why does New York matter in the watch scene, and why do you think this has been such a flagship striving aspiration for Time+Tide? Like, does it make sense why we would go from London to here?
Completely. It makes so much sense, and it's so exciting to have you here, and your space is truly going to be so wonderful. I think New York is so different to so many other of the watch communities. I've lived in LA, I've lived in London, and I've been part of the communities everywhere. But what sets New York apart is the family around it. It's very inclusive, it's very welcoming, and in other cities, sometimes it's a little, who you know, but here it's not about that. It's, oh, you don't know someone? Let me connect you.
Why New York in the scheme of America? There's Miami, there's LA. What is it about New York that sort of just naturally shapes it as the center?
I think New York is such a melting pot of people. It's got people here from absolutely everywhere, from all walks of life. And we all have this curiosity, more so than in other cities that I've lived in. And I think because of that, the curiosity around collecting is defined in a very different way to other cities. Whereas perhaps in Miami, it's going to be perhaps a little more showier pieces, perhaps a little more impressive pieces for others. New York is about you and what you like and what you want to show off and how you want to connect to other people in the community.
Now, let's talk about the craziest thing you've ever done to get a watch or to engage with this hobby, because it is passion driven. Time+Tide, our whole business model is more passion than commercially driven, because we saw a gap that wasn't necessarily commercially attractive, but it's turned out to be very well supported. But tell me about you and the craziest fucking thing you've done to either get a watch, go to an event, create some content. Give me something.
So I think one of the craziest watch purchase stories was definitely around this one. I thought I was going to maybe get killed as I entered this event. No joke. It was in downtown LA. It was kind of by Skid Row. And I turned up at a club in the pitch black at 9 p.m. There was absolutely no one around. I had to go through this peculiar gate, knock on a door, and then they let me into this club. And what clubs are open at 9 p.m.? It's kind of strange. Again, I open the door, it's pitch black, and I'm a girl by myself in downtown LA. It's just not a particularly safe environment. And I finally go in, there's
getting
other people there.
Grand Theft Auto vibes.
Really.
Yeah,
I should have been. I drove there in a convertible and boxed people out the way. That didn't happen. I was in an Uber safely. But I finally made it into this club. I went downstairs and it was full of men. Every watch community in LA is predominantly male, which is fine. I think it's a lot of it. But I turned up there by myself and it was so intimidating. I was trying to like smile at people of who I can talk to and whatnot. And I decided instead of trying to make friends, I'm just going to go and look at watches. And I looked at a bunch of different sellers. It was a really, really fantastic sort of offering. It was my first sort of ever swap meet that I went to. And I was wearing, I think, a Cartier Santos at the time, which was pretty much my only watch. And I found this. And this is a Omega Pipan Constellation from 1963 with a black gilt dial. And I loved the Pipan dial. I thought it was the most special, special thing. And while I was there in this dingy, little, very, very dark bar, it was so dark you could hardly even see the watches. I wired someone some money for this, left, and called it a night. So yeah, that's how that went into my collection.
And you picked up one of the sleeper Gerald Genta designs. Not everybody knows that in amongst the Royal Oaks and the Nautiluses, or the Nautili, was the Pipan Constellation, which again, the way the indexes follow the
shape of the dial.
It's a stunner.
It's such a fun piece. And then I sourced that bracelet separately. So it's period specific, and the brick bracelet Omega Vintage is just fantastic. So it's one of my favorite pieces. I've had it for about 4 years now, and I adore it. It feels very special when I get to wear it.
Tell me about the other two watches you brought in today.
So this is an 18038 President Day-Date. This is probably what started off my watch collecting journey, which feels a little rogue to have this one as my first one. But for my 30th...
It's not rogue, it's more just super
It's kind of baller, right?
It's super flexy.
I'm like, oh, I'm buying a really fancy gold watch for my 30th. I'm like, this is kind of crazy.
Doesn't scream entry level.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't scream first watch.
I think I started too high, quite honestly. But you know, I can only go up from here. But I don't really come from a watch family, and it was I turned 30 during COVID, and I really wanted to buy myself a treat. I had the idea of buying myself a gold Rolex. I didn't really know where to start. So I started researching, I started looking at chrono, I started asking friends, does anyone know watch people that I could chat to? And I honed in on the President Day-Date. To me, it's the most iconic Rolex there ever has been. It's a 1991, which is my birth year.
Oh,
and
come on.
I know, sorry, but it's fine. I'm turning 35 soon. I'm semi-grown up. But this piece really just means so much to me. I remember when I finally found it, I transferred over this money to someone that I'd never met who lived on the other side of the country and patiently sat outside for FedEx to arrive with this gorgeous piece in. And a year and a half of hunting, when it arrived, I was just over the moon. So, so happy with it.
Black lacquer?
Yep.
Diamond batons.
I think it has to be diamond. I love a little sprinkle, just a little.
You've got batons on 6 and 9, and then these fantastic sort of, are they square?
Yeah, these are square cut diamonds, and then we've got the emerald cut on the 6 and the 9. And yes. I think it's such a fantastic piece. I also love how Rolex used to do the gem setting. I think now they use a lot more gold in their gem setting. So the way that this tracks and the minute track around the outside of the dial too, it's just the design details in this that really, really stood out.
Nothing screams girl boss more than buying a solid gold President for your first watch. What's this curious little piece with this lovely gold band and gold,
so this one has a story to it.
Bezel?
Yeah,
and an engraved dial.
I know. The whole thing has this bark finish. And this actually belonged to my grandmother. So I know I said I don't come from a watch family, but this is the only watch that sort of exists in our family remit. And she passed away about 15 years ago, and my dad just sat on this watch. It's 18 karat gold, it's beautiful, but she was the tiniest little human, 5 foot tall, like an absolute waif of a person.
Rocket, as we say in Australia.
Exactly that. And it didn't fit me. It didn't fit anyone in the family. So my dad questioned me and said, can you melt this down? Can you just melt this down for gold? If we did it now, it would be worth a lot more than it was maybe 8 years ago. But I said, absolutely not. I'm not going to melt this down. I'm going to find someone to extend it for me. So you can see on the inside of the clasp, if you're here, let me open it for you. It's got a tiny bit of extender here.
Oh my gosh.
So it took me 3 years.
It's so well done on the outside.
I know, because it doesn't even look it at all. It's actually incredible. It took me 3 years to find a goldsmith who was willing to do it without tarnishing any of the original gold hallmarks. And now I wear it with such love. And whenever people see it, they think is that a Cartier? Is that an AP? Is that something? And it's a Bouchereau with English hallmarks, and it makes me very, very happy.
And this is why I think jewelry watches are so intoxicating when you start to get into them, because there's this extra creative requirement for an integration of bracelet and case and dial. And there's always some sort of melding of those lines, and you're not entirely sure where one begins and ends. But this is just absolutely gorgeous. It's just all bark everything.
Yeah, all bark everything is exactly. Yes.
Tell me, Georgia, do you agree that when you start to get into watches, you can perhaps go into it innocently thinking this is about the watches, but then when you ask someone who's been in watches for a while, they always say the same thing. It started out with watches. What is the thing that's kept you in it and kept you coming back for more? And like your identity is kind of built around this now to some extent.
It really is. I think
one
it's
of your identities.
one
I
of-
mean,
I
you
know.
may have 5 Georges.
many hats.
Yeah.
But I think it's the community that comes with it. And we're so lucky to have these as entrance points into the community. But you can have these conversations, you can connect with people on such a deep level purely because of something you're wearing on your wrist. And I have so many friends. I'm very, very lucky to have a lovely, lovely group of girlies. But my watch friends
And
are
Zach.
different. Oh, and hi, and Zach, always. But the watch friends are different. They can connect on a level that is about these crazy little nuanced details, is about this curiosity to what makes these tick and to what goes into the design behind it. And I'm so, so grateful to be part of this community, and I hope it just continues to
Such
grow.
a tasteful 3-watch collection. I think this is truly like a 10 for me. We used to rate collections on About a Thing Time. This is a 10.
Stop it.
Last one. When someone says, how into watches are you? How do you respond?
That's a very hard question because I might say it's my entire personality. How into watches am I? I think about them constantly, which is perhaps a little bit of addiction. Very into watches. This is a very neutral answer, but I adore them. I adore what comes with them. I adore the hunt, the chase, the acquisition, the round the world trips you do to go and find things. There's just so much to it. So very into watches.
Do you know what's next? What's here?
Oh, I spoke about it last night at dinner. It's a mini bamboo AP gem set of some variety. I think it's a two-tone. I think it's white
That is
gold.
peaking right now.
I know, I'm so excited.
You're going to pay overs for that.
I know,
Yeah.
but it's been on my list for a while and I'm excited to get it this year.
Last question, Georgia, a little bit self-serving, but what do you look forward to with this new layer coming into New York in the form of this Discovery Studio with a lot of wonderful people in this room?
What I'm really excited about is a casual environment in where people can continue to connect. I think that's what your clubhouse is going to provide, a place where we can just rock up, perhaps no appointment necessary, maybe we do, but to be there and to see friends and to learn and to try and just to get to be part of a community that's continuing to support one another. So I'm really excited for that.
Georgia, you are an absolute pro. See you on the next video. What are you looking forward to about Time and Tide New York? We can't wait to see you here. If you wondered about that disembodied clapping, that was the rest of the New York team who are sitting here watching this shoot. We can't wait to welcome you. Everything Georgia said is going to happen and more. And we will be the place where you can go from a collection to a connection. Discovery Studio opening. See you there.